peer pressure is a very real thing. Uh, Motivated to do things for your homies is a very real thing. But in college, you don't have those pressures. So that kind of alleviated a lot of like, I guess, ideas people had about me or what I had about myself, and allowed me just to explore who I fully was.
Clinician known as the confidence expert. With over 10 years of experience in the mental health field and coaching profession, I'm an expert in evidence-based treatment and strategic goal setting to foster success. As a speaker, I frequently present on topics including emotional wellness in the workplace, effective communication, mental health 101, and trauma-informed care. When you're looking for an informative, educational, and engaging speaker, contact Jason Phillips with Peace and Prosperity Coaching. Man, so Ray, bro, this is long overdue.
Man, tell me about it, bro.
Long overdue, man. So I know we linked up. Was that before? Was that before the pandemic?
Yeah, it was before pandemic, bro. At least a year before.
Golly.
At least a year before, because we're outside the Pelican game.
Yeah, man. That's 4 years ago, I think.
Almost.
It was November, probably.
It was before everything happened with Common too, huh?
It was right after. It was right after.
So that had to be like November, December, yeah, right before the pandemic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because my mom died in September, and I took a trip to New Orleans in November, and I had went to Miami. So that was 19. Yep.
2019, it's 2023. Yeah, it's time.
Yeah.
Flying.
So
sorry about your moms too, man. I know that's
yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's something that you never get over. You just kind of continuously work through. But that's what reminded me, because we went out there just to kind of like clear my mind a little bit, do some of my own soul searching. And man, you were out there killing it. So
I was doing a little something, man.
But this is the thing though. You rocking whether there's one person around or whether there's 1,000 people around.
Right.
So without further ado, man, let everybody know who you are. Yeah. Who is Ray Wimley?
Man, well, for those who don't know, I'm a rapper, hip hop artist. I coined myself the freestyle savant. Allies like those of Harry Mack and Common and MC Juice and like all of these great artists. I like to think of myself as somebody who could do freestyle improv in a split second from things that I see and then create, concepts out of thin air. So in my artistry, I'm more like just channeling energy around me and then making it make sense in real time. That's what freestyle essentially is at its essence. That's what I love to do. As far as like who I am, first and foremost, as a man of God, a family person. I'm a husband. I got 5 kids. They in there screaming now. And I've been married, man, for wow, it's 9 years. It's gonna be my anniversary coming up soon.
Okay, so, yeah. When is your anniversary?
June 29th. So yeah, man, that's me in a nutshell, bro. Just a positive artist pushing energy out there for people to be informed about what they need to do to better themselves and progress.
Man, and I love your energy. Like, I love the music because it is positive. Like, when I just want to vibe out and get some good vibes, I'm listening to you. I pulled you up on Apple the other day and just started listening to a bunch of your tracks, man.
That's dope, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, seriously. So how did you get into rapping and freestyling?
Rapping, I think that's just kind of like, I said this on Comedy Trap House podcast. I feel like, shout out to the homies too. Yeah. I feel like it's kind of hard to say because rapping's been around me since I've been young. So I don't know if it's like something I got into or it was just a part of I'm just a product of my environment. So it's kind of hard to say. But I guess to answer that question, maybe 2014 is when I did it seriously for the first time and tried to go to mixtape route, sell them on my backpack, go downtown, hustle, get people to listen to me. And then as far as freestyling, that's the same. I remember a distinctive period though when I was younger. Freestyling came about in ninth grade because I was looking at these two guys named one name was Dr. Frank, the other name was Dope Boy. I
Mm.
don't think that's they artist names now, but Dope Boy actually go by Doja. He a Little Rock artist. I follow him to this day. But they really inspired me because I remember them being on the lunch tables creating raps, and I was like blown away about just how quick witted they were to say something
Yeah.
in rhythm and flow. But and so I just went home and practiced under my breath and in my room. I never foresaw it being what it is today, though.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
when did you like go professional?
2014, I think I would say I went professionals when I decided to I had a decision to make because I had lost my job and that created a circumstance to where I had to go full time into the artwork and my wife was pregnant at the time and essentially it was you're gonna give it 50, you get 50 back, you give it 100, you give it 100 back. And my wife really was motivated to she motivated me to stay on what she believed to be my journey. And we did something called a prayer condition, meaning that we
Mm.
prayed to God for 3 days straight um to make sure that we got the same revelation for me to go through with my career. And if this was supposed to be my profession to provide for my child, and God answered us and he said that it was. And so I didn't look back. And I just took that as a sign that this was something I was meant to do.
Wow, man.
That was Saturday.
I had no idea that your wife was, I knew she was supportive, but like the push behind you really starting out, man. That's
Yeah.
that's what's up because yeah, now what's your wife's name?
Deshandra. Everybody call her Didi though.
Didi, man. Shout out to Didi, man, because I mean, not everybody has that type of support.
Right.
You said 2014, so how old were you at that time?
Was that 9 years ago? 32. So like 25.
25,
Nah,
man.
it's terrible math. Nah, it's 29 years ago. Yeah, 24.
It's all
I was like
good.
24 when I started. Yeah, 24. So I just
Man.
got through college. Yeah,
Okay, so what did you study in college?
psychology. But that was just cause you know what I'm saying. It was just
Yeah.
like I had been there for like going on 5 years, and I figured I need to go ahead and just get this degree, man, get up out of here. Cause
So where did you graduate from?
University of New Orleans.
Nice, nice. So
Yeah, so
so
I got
you are
my
you born and
degree.
raised in New Orleans?
Nah, I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. I got to New Orleans off of another ultimatum my mama gave me. She said, "You gonna go to school, you gonna go to work." And I'm like,
Okay.
man, I ain't ready to go to work, man. Nah, I'm about to go to school. And so I just went to the first school that accepted me. You know,
Mm.
I was a real average student, back in high school.
Yeah.
So when they accepted me, I was like, it might not be too many more offers. So I need to
you, you got on the first one.
yeah, like I ain't about to take no chance. I just made it after the ACT now. I ain't trying to come
Right.
come on now. So yeah, it was stressful. So when I got into school, it was like I'm about to go ahead and make this happen. And New Orleans blew my mind, the culture, the people, the energy. And I got there to get the Saints won. So and then they
Mm.
kind of adopted me too, man. I was down there for so long. They was like, man, you from here. I've been
Yeah.
uptown, downtown, east, all that.
I would have never known that you wasn't from New Orleans, man. Just the way you rep it.
Man, it's in me, bro, because they really supported me too. I think that was the place where I cultivated my art. Being in Arkansas, I wasn't really outward like that. I was to myself mostly. I had my group of friends and I would talk to people, but I just wasn't like out. I was outgoing, but I guess I was popular like that. And I didn't really discover who I was as a person until I got to New Orleans. And so they encouraged me because one, they gravitated to me because I was different. And then for two, when they saw the talent that has a rich history and culture of artists that come from that era. So like the area. So like they just knew instantly, like, yeah, we need to support this guy. And I feel like when you get in college, you really start attracting people that's similar to the way that you think. And you start to notice,
Yes.
high school, you forced to be around a certain group of people all day. But in college, you don't have to really see nobody you don't want to. So your collective that
Mm.
you communicate with kind of create the comfort zone. And then they start building your confidence up. And then once you had that, then it's a game over. And you start to feel, you see so many different walks of life. You see these narratives and identities begin to change on who you think you're supposed to be. you know, and I look at these like high school kids, you know, in high school you feel so grown, but you look back like, man, they so young, they look like babies. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
Peer pressure is a very real thing. Uh, Motivated to do things for your homies is a very real thing. But in college, you don't have those pressures, so that kind of alleviated a lot of like, um, I guess ideas people had about me or what I had about myself, and it allowed me just to explore who I fully was. And it was a
So
great experience.
so going back for a minute, like with high school, because high school in Arkansas, like I don't know what part you said, Little Rock, because
Yeah, Lil Rock,
yeah,
born
y'all
and raised, baby.
Arkansas, y'all been on First 48 before, so like
Multiple times. Crazy out there. Bloods, Crips, Vice Lords, folks.
yeah.
They
So
out
you
there. They
you
out
made
there.
it through all of that.
I mean, you know, I wasn't out there banging. I ain't jump off the porch or nothing.
Right.
So, you know, it's easy for me. I was suburb life, you know.
Okay,
But
okay.
I had partners involved. Like my mom stayed closer to that action, but she was
Hmm.
kind of like more, you know, street savvy. So she was like, nah, you can't go here. You can't spend time on this corner. And I didn't know
Hmm.
why, because in West Little Rock, I definitely wanted to create friends, but the friends that I probably would have created would have led me to do more of those mischievous things. But I went to my auntie house at Pecan Lake, and it was more of a wholesome energy. People had two-parent households. You know, they had backyards, front yard, fences, gates. They
Yeah.
had like stuff that was. I never felt I had to be a part of that community because, for one, it was dangerous. For two, I ain't
Yeah.
trying to fight nobody, get my face all punched on. You know what I'm saying? Like, who wants that? And for three, I would hear some of the stories that these gangsters had to go through to be initiated. Like, they got to get
Yeah.
jumped and beat up and slapped and all type of stuff just so they can have protection to feel safe in their own environments. And if I didn't have to go through that, it wasn't necessary for me. And again, I think my upbringing was like, you really don't have anything to prove. You know, like look at the longevity of this decision if you make it, and
Mhm.
see what predicament it will put you in. And you too educated and smart to make those decisions, and you got too much to lose. So don't put yourself in that situation. So like I was aware of what was going on, and I had my time trying to fit in. But you know, when it really got about that action, and you hearing people like, you know, dying at early ages, you just kind of like, I just made a choice not to submit my life to that type of lifestyle.
So you mentioned your mom. Sound like you and your mom were close growing up.
Oh yeah, my mom was my rock, man. She was the one. You know,
Yeah.
she go to bat for me to this day. Like and I'm the baby boy, so
Okay.
I could do no wrong. She was just there for me all of the time. She definitely disciplined me and made me see things for what it was. But I mean, my mom was, yeah, she was.
She was it.
I was raised by four women, man. You know, so like
Damn.
my mom, my sister, Rita, and Auntie, and then all of the males. You know, Greg, which is my stepdad, came around 12, but then around that time, I lost my Uncle Joe.
Mm.
Probably a little bit after that, and then my cousin Michael, who's an older cousin, and all the so the women, they took part in raising me. So I just gotta respect the women in a way that's different because I knew they knew what I was lacking, but they never made me feel like it. You know?
Dang, man, that's deep. That's deep right there. Yeah, I can relate on a lot of those same instances because my mom raised me, but my grandmother had a huge role too. And like you said, they know what you're lacking, but never made you feel like that. Like, so you talked about high school, then you did college down in New Orleans, and then after that, that's when you decided to go into to rapping.
Man, yeah, rap kind of came to me. I feel like once I think I heard Nipsey Hussle, 2013, J. Cole. You know, our era was lit, bro. Drake coming out, Kanye, Lil Wayne at his all-time high. And then Lecrae was interesting because I was married at the time. So I wasn't really a secular artist. And since he
Mm-hmm.
popped and cracked, it made me feel like dang, I could do this in a way where I could represent God, but still have a swag about it and it not be corny. And so it was just a lot of different routes to go. And then I like the hustle and Nipsey, like I don't have to sell to a record label. So yeah, it kind of all started. And I think the decision was made because I had an organization called Open Mind. And originally
Okay.
my passion was to create curate events to where different artists can come into the city and they can, expose their talents and get exposure and connect with different fan bases and stuff. And because I just had a passion for the arts. But when you trying to mobilize a group of people, the difficulty is financial stability and then also getting everybody on the same accord. So I just made a decision to initially use my poetry first as a form of getting out there in the arts. But I just had a passion for rapping. It never dawned on me that like I couldn't do it or anything. I just loved it and I would just try it. And so I remember my first rap I actually did in front of people was for on a stage was an event that I hosted. And I made the space to where you can try pretty much anything on stage. So it just fit. And I was like, oh, this is what I kind of want to do. But I want to do it all. I think right now I'm just in the transition of this is a form that I'm in because it's creating what I need to get to the next level. But as an artist, I find you always growing and you're just kind of using what people are attracted to get a bigger stage to create, on a bigger stage for people to see more parts of yourself.
Now, would you, I mean, because you, like I said, you've been putting yourself out there in front of people. Was that always easy for you? Was it natural, or did you sometimes struggle with that?
Um, I struggled, but I think once I rap, bro, or once I did poetry and I practiced, I never was nervous because I would put so much time and effort into my performances that soon as I would start speaking, that I wouldn't be afraid. I just felt like it was a calling. Like it's a lot of things that I get nervous, but when it comes to like hip hop or music or being on a microphone, it's no moment is too big for me. I'm gonna prepare for that moment. I never felt like my vision has never been, it's been always stadiums, it's been always Grammys, it's been always, so I've been prepping for that moment like I'm gonna be on front of those people for years. So it never, and then especially when I feel like I'm of service to the people, so when I'm rapping
Yeah.
about something that is going to create or benefit the next person, I don't really feel nervous because it's a conversation at that point. And I'm giving a perspective on what I feel like psychology helped me in a way where I can understand what people go through. So I'm curating the message to those individuals when I'm speaking. So I put myself in a position to talk to specific people to be like, okay, you need these herbs right now, these
Yeah, 'cause
spoken word herbs.
when you rap and when you rhyme, it's like you are having a conversation, it's flowing. Did you ever get any pushback? Because I didn't really think about that. Like you don't use a lot of, cursing and you're not rapping about slanging or you know what I'm saying? Like about like tossing
Wow.
women up, you know what I mean? Because I'm be honest,
Tossing
like
women.
my favorite artist, I'm Death Row. I'm a Death Row fan. So
Ooh, yeah.
so I
So
grew up off the Chronic and Doggy Style and all of that. But you come with a whole different era.
I don't know. Maybe I got pushed back. I definitely think I got some type of pushback. Yeah. I was rapping for Harry Mack on his
Uh-huh.
IG Live one day, and they was like, "Look at Harry Black," So
What?
I was rapping for Ray Vaughn, and they were saying I look homeless. When I was on
how,
IG Live, I
how
didn't
did
rap.
you how did you deal with that though? Like when you like that, how did that affect you mentally?
Oh man, initially it's painful. It hurts because when you it's real easy to get disgusted with people and jaded
Mm-hmm.
quickly when you're an artist because I felt almost like, man, like if you can get past the appearance momentarily, because I just woke up and it's 9 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast. And I saw
Mm-hmm.
this opportunity to speak life into somebody. If you can get past like your insecurities to listen for a brief second, then you'll recognize I'm doing something that's gonna be beneficial to you. So I was more so like offended, like the audacity that a person would say something like that in the moment that I'm trying to express things that can benefit them, right? So that's
Yeah.
one way I looked at it for a while. Like, man, people are so caught up in appearance that they are totally disregard a message that could be something beneficial. That hurt, knowing that like they're shallow. And then I looked at it from a perspective where some people just get their kicks out of that. So I got to take it with like somebody hit me on the chin and keep moving. But it's painful, and you don't want to necessarily put yourself out there. You know, my biggest question was that I didn't get to ask Common when I was around him was or any celebrity I got a privilege of being around is like, how do you deal with fame? And so for me, I experienced, you know, pain. And I think how I was able to get past that was kind of, you're gonna take it personal because emotions are like punches, you know. If somebody hits your face, you feel it, period.
Yeah.
But it's proper ways to go about healing. You know what I'm saying? You ice it. And depending on how hard they hit you, it's how long you need to heal. So once you get hit a certain way or you understand the diagnoses of the pain, then it starts to become not as traumatic when it happens continuously. So it's you organically create a not a numbness to it, but just more like a understanding of the process of it. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, yeah, this person pissed me off, but I'm gonna start rapping anyways, and I'm gonna just get back to what I'm doing. And eventually, it don't last forever. You know, like you're gonna be upset in the moment, but then by Tuesday you ain't thinking about it, or maybe you are. Well, I guess it really depends on how deep the cut was and how case by case it is. But in growth, a lot of it is just time. A lot of it is just maturing. Like, oh, okay, it's people out there, like it's haters. I
Yeah,
hear you
they
say,
out
you
there.
know, hated
Was
men
that?
marry hated women and have hated kids. You know what I'm saying? So like
Mm,
they're out there and you can't be naive that, you know, to be a socialite, to be accepted in the eyes of many is to be hated in the eyes of many. It's just a natural part of it.
what was there ever a time where you either got heckled so bad or somebody said something that you said, man, I might have to switch it up.
Oh yeah, because I vowed not to battle
Mm-hmm.
um prior before I started rapping because I'm still all the way in, you know, this is God's work for me. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's certain things that come with committing your life to a higher calling that you can't partake in because I know the gift and talent that I'm blessed with. And I know as
Yeah.
easily as I can uplift, I could degrade the next person. There's no need for me to prove that. And I know the sensitivity of a male ego. So I
Yeah.
understand like when people are trying to rile me up what they're really doing, but it was just cases where people push the limit. And it was one incident where I know I fired back on somebody on a corner and I didn't feel good
Mm.
after. In the moment, I was
So you won
feeling
the battle.
incredible. Oh yeah, destroyed without question. But for what? And to me, it was kind of like, okay, like that felt good in that moment, but maybe it could have been another way of going about that. And I'm obsessive on trying to figure out how to deflect that type of energy and creating a conversation that's healthy. Because whether I want to be or not, I'm an example of leadership for a lot of people, especially Black young men. And so I'm going into an industry knowing that's what they like to capitalize off on is controversy, and I can't give you that. And if I
Mm.
do, I have to admit fault and say that's not right because a battle in certain magnitudes can lead to a gunshot outside somebody's house. It can lead to a
Yeah.
fist fight in school against somebody, you know, suspended. It could lead to a mother like panicking because her you know son is in jail serving life.
Yeah.
Someday he could have been avoided, but he's getting motivated off of this music. So like the more talent that you have, the more responsible you have to be for the words that you put out. It's just
Bro, you
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 have to.
said a lot. I mean, you said the male ego is fragile, and it is. I remember back in high school. Now this is like over 20 years ago. dudes was in the seriously, it was, you know what I'm saying? I'd already had my 20-year reunion.
Oh wow, yeah.
This was like 1998, 99. Dudes was in a cipher. They battling, and one of the dudes said something, something, something dope. You so fat, you need to wash up with diet soap. I'm like,
That's a bar though.
it was a bar, and I was like,
That's a
dang.
bar.
The fact that I still remember it 20 years later, like I just happened to walk. I was like, dang, he killed him with that. Shout out to
Yeah.
Chad. Chad, that's who.
He still remember.
Yeah, I remember the name. All right, that's who he said it. I ain't gonna say who he was rapping against, but
We
that's
ain't
who,
gotta do that, but that's a boy. Your class know that. It's like, oh, I know who he talking about.
yeah. But man, but the fact that you are intentional about, using your gift wisely and lifting
Yeah.
people up, man, like that's really big of you, because I think a lot of people, they may succumb to those pressures. So how do you, with all the stuff that you hear, that you see, how do you keep your mental health intact? Because I know you big on that.
I've been on a lot of sides of a life, I've been without, a stable home, without food. I've been without you know, a real woman.
Mm-hmm.
I experienced a lot of different sides of life. And I think gratuity keeps me intact because me and my wife was talking earlier. I feel so at service to the world that if I utilize my gift for its purpose, then, in the Bible, it say we inherit the earth. And I really meditate on that.
Mm-hmm.
And it dawned on me that like anything in this world is already given unto us, right? It's already, we already have what we need. And, our talents is what creates the abundance. So mentally, if I stay principled in my disciplines, I avoid a lot of things that create the ups and downs in my mental health. If I don't put negative energy out, I don't worry about negative energy coming back to me. Now, granted, I can't avoid certain bad things happening, but at the same token, I could take the pressure off of feeling guilt from something that I could have prevented in the first place. And that helps my mental health in the long run because when I'm intentional about my words, I don't feel the weight of something that I've done to people because I felt the weight of things that I've done to people. And I think that's a mental block and it creates a lot of pain in individuals when they continuously put out hurt because now you're looking for it to come back to you. So how can you stay stable? How can you stay in a
Dang.
positive light if you know that you punched somebody down last week, regardless of who you talk to? People want to be validated and they want to feel justified,
Yeah.
but very few want to be righteous. And with justification, it's fine. You can feel validated, but did it create any type of peace? And so it starts with intent. And for me, it's a lot of preparation. That's how I keep a lot. I analyze situations before I even get into them. Like even with hip hop in its entirety, like I know I'm gonna be famous.
Mm.
So for me, I have to be realistic on what comes with that. So I can't prepare as if certain things wouldn't happen unto me. So I put myself in those situations and feel what I could do to react the best that I can. And a lot of it comes to just being principled and letting those negative energies pass. And communication, writing, and listening to other people and being in different walks of life have blessed me with gratuity. So I would say just being grateful, being intentional about how you treat people, and giving back is essential. I think those qualities really help me stay level headed.
How do you practice forgiveness? Because I feel like when you get up there and you performing, let's say you had a off night the night before, or maybe you got heckled in the crowd, and you like maybe you see that same person again. I don't know if that's ever happened, but like, how do you practice forgiveness to go out there and still perform and execute at a high level?
I don't have off nights.
I
It
love it.
doesn't
I love
happen.
it.
No, I think like man, I don't know. I welcome the challenge of being heckled. It's conversation is interesting, man. I'm really big on language. I'm really big on
Mhm.
like energy. the energy is can never be created nor destroyed. It can be transferred. So me, I used to not enjoy the heckler. I used to feel like I had to brace myself for it, but it just makes me better. You know, you can't go out in this world and expect it to be no controversy. You can't, like, as a rapper, I can't expect people to side with my viewpoint. So I welcome what they might disagree with or what they might say, and I just either use it as fuel to transform that energy into like something greater. Like my greatest shows have come from people who dislike me in the crowd. I wanted to off put my set, you
What?
know.
Like what happened?
Oh man, it's one time this dude, he was real close to me. And I was like, bro, like, you know, back up. Like you too close,
Yeah.
I can't perform. He was like, all right. So he backed up to way back in the crowd. And I kept an eye on him and he came around first time. He kicked my basket with my money in
Wow.
it.
Wow.
The crowd, like, they like, don't worry about that, Ray. Don't worry about that, Ray. Keep going. So I'm like, all right, chilling, rapping. Next thing I know, he takes some beer and he poured a beer in my money. They
Dang,
was
the
like, don't worry about
disrespect.
that, Ray. Don't worry about that. Keep going. Like they hype. And the crowd kept getting bigger. So every time he did something vile to me, the response from the crowd was like, all right, here goes some more money. Here goes some clean money. Let me get that 20 out there, put a 50 in there. Since he want to do that. And so I started to be like, yo, this is incredible. Like I wasn't even mad, but I was concerned for him because he wanted attention. So by that time it was over with, I went to go talk to dude and I was like, let me just see where his head is at because for one, I don't want nobody coming after me after this show over with. We about to have a
Yeah.
problem. And then for two, I really want to see like where did he feel disrespected? And I talked to him and he said, which was a terrible example because at that time Kevin Gates had just kicked somebody in the chest. And nothing on Kevin Gates because I wouldn't want nobody groping me either. And Lil Wayne had walked off stage and was like, y'all ain't about to keep throwing water bottles on stage because that's disrespectful while I'm performing. He
Yeah.
looked at me and was like, I just wanted some respect. Lil Wayne don't treat his audience like that. Kevin Gates don't treat his audience like that. And I'm like, dude, like, he was like, I'm your biggest fan. I'm like, bro, I just met you in my mind.
Right,
And
right,
he was
right.
like, bro, back up. Like, I don't want no problems. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I don't want no issues, man. I'm ready to fight whenever. I'm like, bro, I ain't trying to fight. He's like, well, tell them to calm down. It's like, what you talking about? And I turned around and it was half of the crowd that was still there behind me,
Oh
ready
wow. Ready to
to
go
jump on
in.
dude if he was to do something to me. And what was so crazy about that chef who cooked the chicken across the street, he was behind me. He had the spatula in his hand.
So
He
he
was
was
ready
ready
to
to
go in.
go.
He was ready to go. And in that moment, I had made a decision because I was like, okay, if I create it to where it's chaos, I don't know if he gonna make it out of here. Cause you got like 30 people that disrupted this show that's ready to stomp on you and beat you to a pulp, like real bad. So I gotta figure out a way to smooth the situation over for his safety.
Yeah.
Because even though I'm upset in the moment, it's just my heart. I can't have nobody like life on my hands like that. And to me, I feel like in the grand scheme of things, it's just not that big a deal. And so we talked, and I don't know, we ended up talking about we was gonna play basketball or something. Never did.
But you
But
didn't even know the whole crowd was behind you.
nah, I went over there myself because I wanted to like see what was going on. I wanted him to be like, nah, it's not threatening, ain't nobody around. I ain't trying to cause no scene and nothing like that. Like, bro, holler at me, like man to man. And that shocked me that those people was behind me, supporting me like that. So I've had so many experiences to where like in real time, because I wasn't an internet rapper first. That's coming now. This is my era being on the
Right.
internet and promoting myself in Spotify. So I had real time interactions with people, and I noticed like just as much hate, you have even more love.
Mm.
And wherever you focus is where your energy goes. So I choose to focus on love. And so when I do get heckled, which when it happens, I really don't even hear it, to be honest. It's music to me at that point because Now you become the experiences where it's gonna pull deep inside of me to create some dope bars off of, because your energy felt like it didn't match your expectation. And that's fine. So it's just, you got to take everything with how it is and just figure out how to. And by this time, I didn't seen so much. People that tried to grab microphones, folks didn't push me. You know
Oh
what I'm
wow.
saying?
But
Yeah,
how did you so you didn't have a
I was
lot
hot
happen
that
to
night,
you?
though.
Yeah, I was
Oh man, I
just
was hot. Well, I was hot that night. I want to do something. But again, the crowd that I cultivated around me knew my heart. And so
mm,
their intention was not to be ignorant. So whatever you put out there, you attract. So if I got a bunch of rah-rah around me and people that's willing to, kill at a drop of a dime, then they gonna motivate me to do the same thing. So it's gonna be
mm,
hard for me to make a just decision. But if I practice what I preach and I put it out there in a way to where, like, I'm still a good person, I need grounded from reality, people do that for me in times of need. So what keeps me level-headed is knowing that the reciprocity I get from people like you allows me to
appreciate
say,
that.
you know what, this is bigger than what just happened. And anytime I make the right decision, it never in the moment can I say I really feel 100% okay with it. It's difficult to be comfortable with it because you got violated. But as time goes on, you start to see and understand why letting it go is important. And sometimes it's just faith. And you got that split second decision to make, because I got a lot to lose, um, especially being a black male in America with
Yeah.
influence to create problems in society. That's what they waiting on. So I foresee and forethink a lot of things before I get into them. And when I'm put into those situations, I just stick to my principles and I pray that God do the rest. And he do. He does,
Man,
man. He definitely come through.
man, Ray, I mean, you've been on stages with the Commons and just being out there on your own, that takes a lot of confidence. How do you maintain such a high level of confidence?
Practice. That's practice. When
How, so
you
you, so you, do- so basically, you saying you just don't go up there and just start. You've been freestyling at the crib or rapping, like you've been putting
oh
in
yeah,
reps before that.
I got certain rituals I do. Like before I get on stage, I have habits. Okay,
Okay.
all right, I gotta go through 10 of my verses. So from a muscle perspective, I get my mouth warmed up to perform because I'm gonna be using a lot of words. So I gotta exercise the vocal muscles, right? So I
Mm,
gotta practice. So then I put myself in a certain state of mind from the words that I say. Again, intentional about what I write. I affirm to
mm,
myself every day when I write that I'm capable of achieving high things. So if I say it loud enough, speak it loud enough, and consistently do it, then it's going to be ingrained in my spirit. You can psychologically and physiologically change your state by what you say.
mm-hmm.
So I'm aware of that. So I use it to my advantage. Okay, if I need to get on stage with the best of the best, then I need to write a rhyme that invokes me to feel like the best of the best. And by the time you done rehearsed it 100 times, your energy fills that up. Like being genuine within the words that you speak is very critical. And so I'm confident in where I go because I prepare for the situation. If I'm finna go in front of a bunch of Republicans, then I'm studying Republican policies. I'm studying what they think. I'm studying the words that they use, the language. I'm studying their mannerisms, how to react to certain gestures, what makes them sensitive, what makes them open up, what makes them comfortable. I'm on all that because I got to present something in front of them that they might disagree with. But if I can get you to listen and you can just be open-minded to what I say, that's my work. That's my life's work. My life work is creating conversations that's uncomfortable and making them comfortable. So I have to
Man.
know the triggers of people prior before I'm put in certain situations. I know if somebody's 60, 70 years old, okay, that's Jim Crow, especially if they white. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's just that more than likely could be a scenario. So how do I come off, you know, non-verbally offensive immediately? I got to change the way my facial muscles are constructed. I got to figure out how to speak at a certain tone of authority without making them feel, threatened. It's a lot of little nuances and psychological things that I pay attention to before I even step foot on any stage that I'm about to get on, because it all plays a part in performance. It's like acting. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now granted, does that work all the time? No. But a great majority of the time, I noticed that you sway the crowd when you're an MC to be open to an idea that they might be uncomfortable with. And so for me, I just know like my intent is always to connect and create a peace environment. But you have to be prepared as an MC, because you have to be knowledgeable of what's going on around you and aware. And that's where a lot of my practice more on that. And then I'll introduce the words that I'll utilize. You know.
Yeah, man. I mean, because I've been, of course, I'm a fan, so I follow you, and the way you interact with the crowd, it just seems to get better and better, and you seem to be more at ease each, each year, each segment, like it just keeps growing.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, no, seriously. So when I saw you out there, in Phoenix, you look like you from Phoenix, even though I know you're not. Like, especially when Phoenix was, doing well. Like,
Yeah, it was crazy.
Crowds was just rocking.
Man, it's experience. I think it really comes down to like and being immersed in a culture and understanding like the cultural norms, with their respect, the psychological awkwardness that I'm outside and they don't know who I am, and addressing that and breaking that, and then inserting myself and, breaking the third person. Me freestyling creates a conversation with somebody I don't know. So it gives them a chance to feel involved in my world, in my reality currently. So it's deep when you have to do it in real time. And it's even deeper when you have to curate an album and a show that's going to create all different types of people to come to you and listen to what it is that you have to say and keep their attention for a period in time. So I'm aware of, I think it's a lot of practicality and logic that I'm aware of that I just introduced into my life. Like empathy really is the biggest. You can't be an apathetic artist. You have to be empathetic.
Yeah.
And my ability to understand different walks of life gives me an advantage when I'm performing. Like I understand. I'm going.
No. I was just gonna say, man. What would you say to somebody? Because everybody can't. Like a lot of people want to tap into their creativity, but they struggle with being able to put themselves out there. So, what would you say to that person who was really they listen and they're like, man, Ray, I love what you're doing. You're dope. You following your dreams. You following your purpose, but they're scared. They're fearful.
I think you have to absorb the energy and then figure out a way to tell your opinion of what's going on. Like we all live in America, so I can see the same pain. I can see the same success. I hear the same stories. I know the same famous podcasters they do. I know the same famous musicians they do. I know some of the high schools and some of the tragedies. I know about single mothers. I know about single fathers. I would say get educated on what's going on in society. And you start to realize that you're telling a part of a story that somebody hasn't heard before. And that's really the biggest thing is empathy. You have to feel what the world is going through. Like a lot of people are worried about how they're perceived, but art is such a selfless experience. Like I can't be consumed in my fears when I have something to say to somebody that can help uplift them. Especially, it's like a conversation. Some great conversations just happen. You're triggered to say something, and now you create this beautiful moment with a person. That's art. You're just doing that on a continuous basis, and you're more conscious of when those moments happen. Like people are looking for creativity, and nothing comes out perfect when you get started. So you just got to do it, and then over time, it becomes something to marvel at. But you have to absorb the world.
So, Brad, where do you get your inspiration from?
Everything. People, man. I listen to people. I study people. People. It's weird because we live in a society where folks focus on themselves so much. And I don't think nothing wrong with like self-love,
Mm-hmm.
but I let go of the idea that we are in an independent society trying to maintain the social status. I don't believe that because by by nature we're codependent people. So like once I started to open up myself and listen to other people, I started to understand like their perspectives, and I just started to put into my artwork. People like from poverty stricken, rich, successful, like everybody has a missing part in their life that they're trying to complete in any walk of life. You listen to somebody long enough, they'll tell you their problems.
That's facts. I
You
would
know,
know that. Yeah.
it don't matter how successful they are, it don't matter like what they've gotten in life, they'll tell you what they're struggling with. So, but the same person that's struggling with that, it's another person that's not, right? But they might be struggling with something different. So it's like it's all of these answers and it's all of these solutions around us. And I just learned that I just listen to different people, and that just inspires me to write and create solutions in my music tailored to certain people's experiences, using the language that they would need to hear, you know,
Right.
to understand it. So yeah.
Man, you gotta before we wrap up, man, you gotta give us a freestyle. You know, cause you famous with
Oh yeah, let's do that.
yeah, you famous. I throw you the word and you just get the, you know, that's
Getting
so
it
cold
cracking.
right there. Yeah.
All right, bet. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do it, man. What words you got for me, man? Let's get it cracking.
You know, we starting right off with peace.
Man, you know that you need peace. This world is so crazy, dog, to say the least. So I gotta stay educated, dog, and get them motivated every single day of the week. Can't be weak.
Prosperity.
I gotta stay strong and bring peace and prosper all the time that I can, dog. You see, with your third eye and the one's open, you gotta be focused and pump hope back in the hopeless is needed. Prosperity is the key, but you gotta have peace to see it. So this peace of mind enlightens those that surround to understand we ain't leaving nobody behind. I feel it. Man,
Faith.
I understand being the realest. I couldn't hit a word. Can you say it again and
Faith.
spit it? You can't
Faith.
fake it, man. I got it every day. I really feel that's a prodigal Ray. Have faith, then I pray, then I go and execute. The next thing you know, dog, I'm finna go and shoot my shot. It's in the net with preparation. I'm giving my best and can't stop. I'm getting better with that. Repetition and practice,
Life.
making it happen. Living this life is crazy, dog. Man, the passion plus compassion every single time let me know that I stay in a certain state of mind to be here. It's quite clear. Having my face so the ones around, dog, that truly relate and resonate to the energy that's inside, you know where it comes from. It's a gift of God, the gift of God, making it last. What's the word? We can make it happen, dog. Take them to class, imitating
Anxiety.
freestyle all of the time. That's why I come and spit while I constantly blow their mind. A lot of people are anxious. What then happened? Stop believing in angels, dog, stricken with sadness. Anxiety comes if you live in a life where you feeling stagnant, but get up and just go make it happen. So you gotta
Empathy.
get in your passion, be empathetic to people around, dog. For real, we need it to overcome tragic times. That's why you got to be in a certain state of mind. So I believe in helping the next man and blessing their soul. This is what it takes, the gift of gold. This is what it's going to be, dog. Should I say any more? A freestyle session right now. We letting them know.
Man, you
Need
killed it.
something like that. I don't know. Something like that. I had no beat on, but
It's
I had to get
yeah,
into it. I had to get into it a
man.
little
No, that's
bit.
you. Cause I just had to. I said, man, let me get a freestyle, man. You killed
It's
that,
mandatory at this point. It's mandatory at this point.
right, man. Ray, one, I'm jealous, man, cause y'all still got light out over there. I
You
forget
see
you.
me, huh? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm chilling.
yeah,
I'm
you
cooling,
shining.
bro. I done been
Oh
inside,
man,
outside, all of that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's nice
man.
out
So,
here, bro. You gotta come out this way.
I definitely do. Never been to Phoenix, so I will hit you up when I get out there. Um, man, I had to have you on the show because you know your energy, your confidence, persistence, and consistency, man. Like you have been consistent for years and years and years, and man, that's something that a lot of us struggle with. So let everybody know. You know we're gonna wrap it up, but let everybody know where they can find you. I know you got a new mixtape out, like
Yeah.
all of that.
Man, I'm everyone on Spotify, man. Ray, Raywimley. That's Ray Wimley. And my name is pronounced on the women, Bruce Lee. So Wimley, You can find me Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Deezer. I'm on all of that.
Apple
I'm
Music.
everywhere. Apple Music for the Android head. I mean for the Apple heads, you know. I'm all of that. I'm everywhere, man. Google, you can Google me, raywimley.com. I did some things now, so I pop up in some of the search engines that you look in. Bing, if you one of the people that use Bing, I don't know. You
And
could put in Ray Wimley. If you put in Ray Wimley, I pop up on Google and all my information pop up.
if
And
people want to
so
book you,
people want to book me, man, go to my website or you can go to my Instagram and my manager's email is under my Instagram page and they can book me to come out and do performances. I perform with bands, I write freestyles, I curate, uh, even weddings, all type of stuff.
yeah.
I didn't rap everywhere. I done did all type of performances, man. I
And I
think I had to
think
perform. I performed everywhere. It's been crazy.
that band, man, y'all
Arbiter
the
Project. Oh yeah, they
yeah,
fire.
it's just whoo. But
They done did.
it's y'all together though. Like it's great music, man.
Yeah, they them dudes. Man, shout out to Harbinger Project and his thing. Because a lot of people don't know when we went viral, that was them in the background making the beat. Because folks was like, yo, what is this classic hip? I'm like, that's the band, that's Harbinger Project, baby. They do it. We was just out
Man.
in LA at this at Pomona State Fair rocking the crowd. So yeah. And
Cold.
yeah, I got some stuff coming up, man. You gotta get out here too. I got a residency now. I'm doing a hip hop
What?
festival in September. Oh, it's gonna be lit.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right. I'm there. I'm there.
Don't
I'm
be a
let
lot of
wifey
people,
know.
man. Yeah, come out, man. Please. You're gonna enjoy
Man,
yourself.
this is great, bro. We have wrapped up another dope episode with an amazing guest, man. Thank you, bro. I know it's a lot. You got your family, you got your, the career, but I appreciate you taking time. And we're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it again.
Yeah, man. Let's not make it 4 years, man.
Right.
Let's do it sooner than that.
Yes, sir.